Hi, I'm Olivia. I'm the Southern Yankee Stitcher. Welcome to my Flosstube number 9. It is October, so we are talking about Halloween. It's been 2 weeks since my last video. I normally do one every week, but I didn't feel like I had a lot of stitching to show you last week, and I was a little under the weather too, so I just decided to delay a week. But I had promised you all that during my birthday month, and I've never really used that term birthday month until this year, but I was going to share with you each week. I'm going to have some giveaways during the month of October. And so we'll have that towards the end of the video today. But I thought I would start with some prior finishes. And this is one of them right here. This is close to one of my favorite pieces that I've ever stitched. It's Victorians by Judith Kirby. And this has a story to it, trying to get this chart. It's actually 2 charts. When I first started watching Flosstube and found out what it was, one of the first channels I watched was Priscilla and Chelsea. And I did with them like I do with any Flosstuber that I find. I watch their current things, but then I like to go back and as far back as I can go and watch their old things up to the present and kind of get caught up and get to know them that way. And so I was doing that with them, and I really like some of their older videos because they had a wider variety of stitching that they were sharing, and they also had a lot of unique finishes. They would go to thrift stores and yard sales and flea markets and things like I like to do, and would finish their pieces on those finds. And it really made me think outside the box for a lot of my stitching. I know they don't do that now. They mainly finish on things that you can get at retailers that are available to you either through Etsy or Hobby Lobby or Michael's, and I understand that, so you can duplicate what they have. But I really liked the older stuff where they were doing a little more variety, I guess you should say. Anyway, in one of their older videos, it was probably 2 years old when I watched it, and this was back during the shutdown last spring, early summer. And Priscilla showed one of her former finishes, and it was this right here. And I got stopped in my tracks. I had never gotten so excited about a chart before. I mean, I've seen things I liked. To this day, I don't know that I've ever gotten as excited and wanted the chart as much as I wanted this when I saw it. But she went on to say, sorry, the chart's not available. The designer's deceased and no one has the rights to her charts. Judith Kirby is her name. So when I was done watching the video, like I said, the video was about 2 years old at the time I watched it. I went to eBay and I found these are 2 charts that you put together to make this one. And they were on eBay for about $65, $75 up. I found one set that was only about $35, but it wasn't a buy it now. It was an auction format. It still had like 4 or 5 days on it, something like that. So I knew it was going to go up in price. So I was kind of defeated, but I put it on a watch list and thought, I'll watch it. Maybe I'll luck up somehow. Well, later that week, it was a Sunday afternoon, I was watching another Flosstuber, and it was someone that had been mentioned on the Sunshine Stitchers. Her name's Carolyn Zook, and her channel is C Zook Stitch. And she went through her whips and her plans and finishes and the things she normally does. And when she got to her haul portion, she pulled out 2 charts, and it was these 2 charts. And my jaw, my mouth gaped open, and I was surprised. And at this time, I didn't have a Fire Stick yet, so I was watching Flosstube on my iPad. And my daughters were in the room watching TV. I had the earbuds in, watching and stitching. And I said, oh, the chart I wanted is, she just got it. She said where to get it, and it's in the store. It's in Michigan, and I'm going to call. You think they're open on Sunday? And I was so excited about it. And they're like, well, Mom, it is in the middle of a pandemic. They might not be open. I said, well, they could be doing just mail orders, you know. I'm going to try. I'm going to call them. Well, I went to call them, y'all, and their answer machine cracked me up. I don't know if you all have ever watched the movie Doc Hollywood. It was with Michael J. Fox, an older movie, and he was like this young up-and-coming doctor, and he just got hired on as a plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills. He was on his way to California and got stopped in this little southern town named Grady. And I remember the name of the town because that's my father-in-law's first name. It was my father-in-law's first name, my husband, my son, and my grandson's middle name, Grady. And so anyway, he gets stuck in this little town. His car's broke down. He had a wreck. He has to pay restitution to the town for damage from the wreck by being their town doctor. Well, of course, he falls in love with the little town and a girl in it. And he goes on to California when he can, but he misses the town. So he calls back. They have instead of calling the time and temperature, they have a phone where you call and get the weather for their town. So he calls and gets the weather one night when he's lonely and missing the small town. And Bridget Fonda is the character that does the recording for this call. And she's very southern, long drawn out accent. I can't duplicate. But she doesn't just give the weather. She says it's a balmy 98 degrees here in Grady, and the only thing it's good for doing is sitting with your sweetheart on the front porch and sipping some sweet tea. Very folksy, and that's the recording. Well, when I call this Stitch in Time in Saginaw, Michigan, I kind of got that same thing. And I immediately thought of that movie. So I'm calling them. I don't know what month it is. It's April, May, June, something like that, 2020. And they go off with their normal business spiel, where it said something like, you've reached Stitches in Time, and we're a framing and needlework store, and says where they're located and their hours, just the normal business information. But then there's a big sigh, and the person doing the recording just kind of goes, it's raining here. It's rained here a lot. It's been raining here for 7 days. We have a lot of rain here. The North Bridge is closed. South Bridge is closed. But they were very folksy in saying it and went from this business recording to something just very folksy and casual. And they were flooded out. They couldn't get to the store. So not only was it in the middle of a pandemic, when places were shut down that weren't, necessary, but they also had flood. So I felt really sorry for the people. But I went ahead and left them a message and, want to give them some business for sure, if I could. And it took them a few weeks to call me back, and I told them what I wanted, the charts I wanted. And they said, oh, yeah, we can help you with that. And I said, I want some gray modeled fabric. And I just saw that Carolyn Zook posted on her video that she bought some there, but she got linen. I don't want linen. I want an even weave, and I want, I think I said 28 count. So they call me back a couple weeks later, and we go back and forth on the phone a couple times. They send me text messages, some pictures of fabric, and I finally get my stuff. It's maybe 4 or 6 weeks. It takes a while, but a lot was going on. It's understandable. But I got these charts, and I immediately went to stitching them. I was so excited. And the reason I was excited about the charts, let me show you the charts themselves. It reminded me of my kids. Well, first it's Judith Kirby, Victorian number 9. And you put it together with Judith Kirby, Victorian number 15. And it shows you on this sheet right here how to put them together. Well, when I saw this, when Priscilla showed it, I saw Superman and I saw a witch. And that reminded me of my oldest daughter. First time she ever went trick-or-treating, she was Supergirl. She was about 2.5. And I have a picture of her. it reminded me of her, and I had to have it because of that. That was one of the reasons. This is her. She was like 2.5, 3. Well, no, she was 2.5. Hope you can see that. Okay, she was so cute, so cute. And the witch reminded me of my youngest daughter. She had a witch costume that she got as a hand-me-down from her cousin, and it was like a fuzzy cat suit. I imagine that the costume was probably sold if you were going to be a cat because it was fuzzy. But she wore it underneath this, the same way her cousin did, underneath a cape. It was a real cute cape that was kind of layered and lots of trim on it, and a cute witch hat that wasn't real tall, but it was more ornate. It had lace and things on it. And so I thought about the two of them. And here, well, let's see. I have a picture here of my youngest daughter wearing. The cape was kind of fuzzy too and had fur trim like on it. That's her in that outfit. She wore that costume for a couple of years. And I was mentioning it to her. We're just putting Halloween stuff out, and I mentioned it to her, and she said, "Oh gosh, I remember the year I couldn't fit in that costume anymore. I was so upset. I was so upset because I loved it. I loved wearing that costume." My son, I have 3 children, and my son, of course, he was different things through the years. All my kids were different things through the years, but probably the most memorable costume for him was a skeleton. And he dressed up as a skeleton one year, and after we moved to South Carolina, we went trick-or-treating in the neighborhood where my in-laws lived. They live in the Mill Village, in the same town where I work. And you may not know where the Mill Village is. I didn't know until I met my husband. But this is definitely a cotton mill county or region in South Carolina. There are a lot of cotton mills here. And in these towns here, the town was built around the cotton mill. That was the place where most people worked. And the mills would build housing for their workers, and so they could live there and then work there. They could just walk to work. They had a store. They had a bank. They had a cafe. They had a barber shop. They had everything. The mill village was a village. You could really do anything there you wanted. You didn't have to go out in town. Now people did, but the mill provided a lot. My husband's grandparents lived in their house in the mill village for like 60 years. And they swore by the mill. They said they were treated well, and they loved it. They loved it. But we would go trick-or-treating there because the houses were close together. They're brick houses, and they're real close together. So it's easy to hit a lot of houses in a little bit of walking, And we would take the kids there. Plus, it's like every house participated. They would go all out. They would decorate. The adults were sitting on the porch handing out candy. Kids were everywhere. Not many cars were on the street. So, you didn't, of course I was careful with the kids, but you didn't have to worry about it because it wasn't like a heavy traffic area. And it was just a great place to get trick-or-treating. It really was. Great family neighborhood. And everybody knows everybody there. One year we were trick-or-treating, and we kind of went up the back side of my in-laws' house, and we were going to hit one more street. My son said, "I'm done." So he went back to their house, and he sat on the porch and was handing out candy. And when he got done handing out all the candy they had there, he handed out his candy that he had gotten from when he was trick-or-treating. And he was dressed as a skeleton, and he sat real still in the chair. When people would come up, and he moved and scare them, And this is a picture of him as a skeleton. And of course, there's my daughter as a witch again too. So we have a lot of good memories from trick-or-treating. And when I did this piece, of course, it only had the witch and the super kid in it, and it's just the cat and the other one. So I knew I had to add a third trick-or-treater in there. So I added the little skeleton there. And you can tell by looking at it. What I did is I made a copy of the chart and did like a mirror image. And I took the Supergirl and I cut out the cape. And because I looked online and I found different little skeleton patterns for free, but they didn't look like they belonged on this. So I could have changed them around a little bit more to make it a little more different than Super Kid, but it worked out. It was so easy this way. And I just made it all black, and then I just did back stitching on the top of the black to make the skeleton. For the witch, my daughter, while I was stitching it, she said, because I think the witch has green hair, green skin, and she said, you never did green makeup on me, so don't make it skin tone, not green. And the witch also had orange hair, and she said, I didn't wear a wig to make it brown like my hair. And she said, I always carry the purple bucket, not the orange one. I said, you're right. So I changed all those to look like her. And then the Supergirl, I added some blonde hair on there, so it looked like a little girl. I love this. I put it out every Halloween, every October. And sometimes I leave it up even through Thanksgiving because I love it so much. This is in the same frame that the shark was in that I showed you a couple weeks ago. I actually had this frame for this piece when I was stitching the shark and tried to see if it would fit and realized it did. And so I bought the same thing. So it's kind of deep. So I don't hang it anywhere. I just sit it on a shelf. And it's inset about an inch, just like the shark was. And the way the shark looks like it's in an aquarium, kind of, this kind of looks like a little shadow box. I just love it. I just love it. Now, one thing I did here, and it was the first time I ever did it, was some half stitching. There's some half stitching back here, like the background behind the fence, where you just do one leg of your cross. I had never done that before. I had it charted one time, I think on a stocking, and I did those one legs, and it didn't feel right. I had to go back and cross them. They would have been fine. This was fine. I was tempted to go back and cross them, but I didn't, and it looks great. So that's Judith Kirby, Victorians number 9 and 15, and you can get them at Stitch in Time, Saginaw, Michigan. I'll hold that up there so you can see it. And you get the 2 charts together. They're not on cardstock because these are reprints. I'm sure I imagine they print on demand, but they're so cute. I did have a note here. It's 28 count Lugana, and the color is called Nocturne. Nocturne. And they were very nice. Sent a little note, a couple little freebies with it. They were just really kind. Well, I had something here to show you talking about Halloween and trick-or-treating. When I was a kid, we dressed up a lot. My mother had a lot of old clothes, and she collected antique and vintage clothes, kept them all in our attic. She had a lot of old like skirts and tops that were Victorian era, maybe later, maybe 1890s to 1910 at the latest. The tops were so tiny waisted that we could only wear them as real little kids, because whatever woman wore these had a tight corset, and when I was like 10, I couldn't fit in it, and I was not a big person like I am now. I was a skinny little kid. But then the skirts were drawstring, and everything was black, but it had like embroidery and lace. It was always black on black, and there's big bonnets that went with these. And then she had the Victorian boots. We would dress up in those a lot. We also had a set of tails and a derby. And we wore that a whole lot for a lot of different things. Little skits and plays and things. We used these clothes. And one of my favorite things to do as a kid was to ask my mom, can I go play in the attic, and go pull out clothes and try them on and look at all the old things up there. And I loved it. The Little Women movie, and towards the beginning when they're playing in the attic and when they're wearing tails and a top hat, just reminded me of all the old clothes we had in there. But we would definitely dress up to go trick-or-treating too, but we didn't trick-or-treat a whole lot. We kind of lived out in the country. We weren't in a subdivision or anything. My grandmother lived across the street. My uncle lived next door. And we would go to their houses. We'd get all dressed up, go across the street to my grandmother's, maybe go next door to my aunt and uncle's, and that's about it. We might go to one other neighbor, but most of the time they didn't have lights on. But we had fun. We came across this picture. This must have been my grandmother's picture, because I've never seen it before. It's in my grandmother's house. And I came across it going through pictures right before my mom's birthday, about a month ago. And that's me and my sister, my little sister. I'm the bum with the sad clown wearing the tails and the derby. I had a ping pong ball that was cut in half, painted red on my nose. Face was painted. She was a clown. Look, we just had little lunch bags because we were going to get a lot of candy. We had two stops to make. I wore this costume. This is 1980, so I was 12. Wore this costume, or just about to turn 12. 2 weeks shy of 12. No, 12 years old plus 2 weeks. Excuse me. Anyway, that doesn't matter. But I wore this costume to a party. It was a Halloween party for the church youth that somebody had at their house. And I got there, and nobody knew who I was, dressed up in this costume. And when I realized nobody knew who I was, I thought, I'm going to keep them guessing. So, I played along with the games. They probably did bobbing for apples, things you probably don't do now because people think it's gross. But we did it all back then. And never talked the whole night, which I was very shy and quiet anyway. It wasn't hard for me not to talk. I got no gift for the best costume. And then when I talked and showed them here I was, and nobody could believe it. Nobody could believe it. I don't know what happened to these tails. I think my mom sent all the old clothes to auction, which is where she probably originally got most of them. But we still have the derby. I still have the derby here. And it's pretty cool. Pretty cool old derby. So anyway, somebody with the initials WLR owned this derby. They probably were a well-to-do person, but we used it in many costumes. It's a lot of memories with that derby. Anyway, let me get on to stitching. Talked about Halloween long enough. Sorry about that, y'all. 2 years ago, I had joined a South Carolina Stitcher Facebook page. And on there is where I found out where the L&S was. It's like an hour away from me. And so I wanted to go, but I didn't really want to drive an hour there, an hour back by myself. So I was asking my daughters if they wanted to go, and they were like, nah. So I tried to sweeten the pot for my one daughter who loves Halloween, and so we can go to At Home. It used to be Garden Ridge, and they changed their name, whatever. And we can go to At Home and look for Halloween stuff first, and then we could stop at the stitching store on the way back. And she said, okay. So we did. The only thing we found at home, at home, was that big, I'm looking at it now, the big wooden pumpkin that I put that Twin Peaks primitive fall stitching on. She didn't find anything. Well, then we went to Panda's Crossing, which is my L&S, and the first thing she saw when she walked in the door, I wasn't sure she was going to go in. So, you going to wait in the car? She said, no, I'll go in. It was a Halloween tree, and it had a bunch of Mill Hill ornaments on it. And she said, can you make these? I said, yeah, I can make those. So she got a bunch of Mill Hill ornaments, and I made them. I think I got a piece of black fabric, probably for that shark, and maybe some floss. I didn't buy hardly anything. And she was paying for all hers. She said, give me your stuff. I'm going to buy it too. And I said, no, you don't have to do that. I believe it was the owner that was running the register. And she said, are you going to stitch those ornaments for her? I said, yeah. She said, let her buy your fabric. I said, okay. So anyway, she let me borrow the ornaments so I could show you all. And there's a witch. I never stitched on perforated paper before. I never did a Mill Hill. Back in the late 80s, I stitched a piece, and I have it in storage. It's behind some stuff. I can't get to it. It's in my shed. But I did stitch a piece that I put some beads on. But that was the only time that I've ever done beading. I'm not really a blingy kind of girl, but I really enjoyed doing these. These were fun. And I could do like one in a day, 2 days, maybe, depending on how much time. Then I backed it. I had this cording I bought to make a hanger. They come with like a little magnet, so you can make them into a magnet if you want. But I knew she wanted to put them on a tree. And then I got this felt, and I don't know what the felt is called, but I'm pretty sure I got it at Hobby Lobby. And it's stiff. It's real stiff, almost like a felted cardboard or something. And so it helps give them some stability, and I like that a lot. But that was the witch. And then here's a bat. He's pretty cute. Here's the back is just black. Here's old Frankenstein. He's one of my favorites. Dracula, vampire. The tombstone. With the ravens on it. And then this one's my favorite. This is the mummy. He's my favorite because his little hair is sticking out at the top. And he's got a little dog. And they have beads, and then they have one like little bigger charm. Well, most of them, they have one. Like, he had a little charm on the dog's collar. Let's see. Dracula had the bow tie. And you just kind of stitch it around. They didn't all have holes. Some of them had holes in them, some of them didn't. Frankenstein had a black heart. The bat has like a little flower in the middle. And I guess the witch had, well, it's eyes and nose on the jack-o'-lantern. This one I actually didn't buy. The tombstone just has beads. There's nothing. Oh, can't get it on. No large embellishments on that one. I think I got the witch actually on a freebie on the Facebook page I was on, South Carolina Stitcher page. A lady put on there that she had somehow inherited a bunch of cross stitch, and she wasn't going to do any of these Mill Hill kits. If anybody wanted one, to let her know, and she would send them to you free of charge. And she had Christmas ones and Halloween ones, and I posted and said, if you have any Halloween ones, I take whatever you have. And so she sent a couple to me. One was the witch, and there was another one that was a cat in a moon, like a cat over a moon. It had already been stitched. It didn't have the perforated paper in there. But these all come with, like, they have enough beads, probably to do 2. And they have plenty of floss in there, too. One of them I was working on, and I sat the little thing of beads stupidly on the arm of the sofa where I was working, and it fell off. Beads went everywhere. I have hardwood floor. Oh gosh, it was a nightmare. And of course, it wasn't like right after I vacuumed, and they went up under the couch, so I'm getting dust and stuff too. Anyway, I had plenty of beads. I was able to pick up enough that I had enough. I didn't run out, and I had plenty of floss. But the whole point of me saying that was, I haven't been stitching Halloween, but I do have that kit. Oh my gosh, it's my phone. I do have that kit, and I'm just going to use the pattern, and I have the perforated paper now, and I have beads left over from all these kits, and stitch it. You can, I think you can probably get 2. If you have provide your own paper, probably 2 out of the beads, and probably with the floss too. It's a good bit of floss they put in there. As far as my stitching goes, gosh, I just dropped a bunch of stuff. Of course, it's the things I haven't shown you yet. I've only been working on one piece. I have not done a lot of stitching, because I want to get this one done and get it displayed. And it's George Decorates for Martha. And this is my progress. And I've enjoyed working on it, but I haven't worked on my Christmas is Coming piece. I haven't worked on anything else. This is all I've stitched on. But it's a lot. That house is a lot. I mean, it takes a long time to do that house, and I'll probably finish this up this week. The school where I work went to year-round school this year, and so we started back earlier in the year. We started July 22nd, I think was the first day for students, and which means we're on fall break. The students have been out for 2 weeks. I worked last week, but I'm off this coming week. So I'm going to get a lot of stitching done. I want to get my craft room organized. It's a mess in there, y'all. That's my catch-all. And I have a lot of papers in boxes still that I need to go through that were my mom's. And I was working on those and going through them really fast, and I just kind of got burnt out. So they're still sitting in there, and I need to work on that. But I'm rearranging things too. That's what I'm going to be working on this week. But I'm also going to have time to do a lot of stitching. In case you don't know, that George Decorates for Martha is by Plum Street Sampler. It's a cute chart. I really like that chart. Well, I went and did a little shopping yesterday. I did shopping for me, and I did shopping for you. Some of it you'll see today, some of it you'll see later on in the month. But I'm excited to have some giveaways and things. But let me show you my haul first. This first piece is a pin keep, and it says, "Needles and pins within this keep, so I may stitch while others sleep." Now, if I saw this chart alone, I wouldn't have got as excited and really fallen in love with it like I did. But they had one stitched up in there, a model, and here's what the back looks like. It was so cute. It was so cute. And I said, "Do you all have the chart for this?" And this was the only one sitting there. It's the only one they had left. This is not a new chart. It's from 2015. Hands-on Design. What's it called? Black and White Garden Pin Keep. But I thought it was so cute. I don't have one of these. I mean, do I need one of these? No. But do I want one of these? Yes. So I got that. I got an ornament, and I know one of my daughters will love these. I thought about her when I saw it. This is Plum Street Samplers again. I must like them a lot. Noah's Ark Christmas Ark 3, Whales and Squirrels. The whales, I thought she'd really like. I don't think she'll watch this, but I might do the whales, but not an ornament. Just do something for her. I also got, this is from Scattered Seed Samplers, and I don't think I've ever heard of them. Scattered Seed Samplers, original and antique reproduction sampler designs by Tammy Black. This one's called Seeds of Kindness, and it says, Scattered seed I cast for thee, O little wren's song for me. No, O little wrens, sing for me. That makes more sense, doesn't it? Looks like an O to me for a second. I just thought that was cute. When my back's not bothering me, I do love to garden, and I love the birds. I love the birds. This next chart is by Blue Flower, the Blue Flower, called Acorns. I thought this was cute too, kind of classic. And it says, the creation of 1,000 forests is in a single acorn. And the last chart to show you is from Teresa Kogut, called Hazel's Halloween Friends. I just thought she was really cute. This area back here is about the Halloween I have out. I've never had a whole lot of Halloween decor. I have more than this. This year I didn't put it all out. I did fall. I'm looking around my living room, is where I am now, in one corner of my living room. And I don't know. I just wasn't into getting all that stuff out. I don't know why. But this little cabinet behind me, it's the door. And then this, let's see if I can move out of the way. This piece here on the bottom was a vanity that had like a kidney-shaped top on it. It has a skirt. Well, I took the top off and the skirt. I put these kind of rough-hewn boards. These came off of it was a shed, but it was used as a playhouse for my niece. They said they didn't want any more. They dismantled it and put it on the curb. And I went by. I was taking her home from school that day, and it's like, what are you doing with all that wood? It was weathered, nice, barn-looking wood. And they're like, it's just trash. And I said, I'm going to get the truck and come back for it if you don't mind. They're like, yeah, you can have it. So I have used this wood on so many things. I built a potting bench. I did a sign for my front porch. I made this. And it kind of, you can see a little bit better that way. And then I hooked the door to the back. And you can see, I left the old hardware on there. One of the panes up top, I made a chalkboard. I don't have anything written on there right now. I need to. Something seasonal on there. But this is just my little Halloween corner right now. Okay, well, yesterday I also got some floss. And I can get DMC all day long. And really, it's cheaper at Hobby Lobby. So I didn't get any DMC. Although I need some for some of the kits I got. But I got, let's see, steamed broccoli, spinach, and Garrison green. Classic Color Works and Weeks. Some of these, the greens and yellows, I know I want to use them on some charts that I have where I'm changing out the colors. But but they're not real specific. I just knew I needed some over-dyed yellows and greens. I picked out ones I liked. Then here we've got Queen Bee. Actually, I have two Queen Bees there. And Chickpea and Beehive. A little green in its Beehive. Pretty colors. These will be for the whale. I have a needle stuck in it. Will be for that whale pattern. I'm changing the color. Well, changing some of the colors out on that. Let's see. They're all weeks. Let's see. We have gunmetal. Then blue suede. then galvanized, battleship, and this last one is dove. They're really pretty. I love those colors. So that does it. Well, I actually do have more haul. It's out of reach. Excuse me. Hold these. I went to Walmart and they had different. We have two Walmarts in our town, and they're both like, one's a super Walmart, the other was supposed to be a market, Walmart market, just a grocery store, but it ended up opening like a super Walmart. But they carry different things. The one that was supposed to be the market, that's just really like a super Walmart, actually, I think their groceries are less than the other one. I don't know. Has more crafting items. And so I went to that when I was looking for DMC. They didn't have. I needed one color. No, I needed two colors. But I needed one really bad to finish out Mount Vernon on that piece. And they only had like 15 colors. I don't know. But they did have some fabric, a fabric bundle that I liked. And I'm not sure what I'm going to use these on, but I know I will use these sometime soon. It had, each of these is 18 inches by 21 inches, which I thought was perfect for finishing, which is the only thing I'm going to use it for. Jack-o'-lantern, the ravens, cats and bats, haunted house, and I have to open this up a little bit to see it. Oop, upside down. Spooky trees with witch. I just thought they were cute. I have some pieces to stitch, some charts that I have that I haven't started or even thought about starting. When I saw those, I thought, if I'm stitching off season, I may need some finishing fabric, and that might be hard to find. I'm going to grab this while I can. So I did. So anyway, I think that does it. I told y'all I don't have a lot of stitching to show you. I feel bad. But I do have some giveaways. I hope that makes up for it. What I'd like you to do, in order to be considered in the giveaway, you need to, you guessed it, like and subscribe to this video, and to my channel. Like and subscribe and comment. You can tell me your favorite Halloween costume when you were a kid. What was your favorite Halloween costume? And I have just two things to give away this week. I'm hoping that each week's going to get a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better, and then Halloween will be a big one. So I told you that where's the little guy now? The mummy was my favorite of the Mill Hill ornaments that I stitched so far, with his hair sticking out and his little dog. So cute. So I picked one of those up. This is a brand new kit for you, Mill Hill Mummy. It's got your perforated paper, your beads, and your floss. Everything's in there that you need. It even comes, pretty sure it even comes with a needle. If I'm not mistaken, it comes with, yep, a regular needle for your stitching and a beading needle. So you don't need anything. So just comment, in your comment, put mummy. If you can't think of, if you've never dressed up for Halloween and you don't have a favorite costume, you can just tell me that, or you could just put the word mummy in your comment. The other one is another bundle, just like the one I got from Walmart. If you're going to be doing some Halloween finishing, or God forbid we have to go back to wearing masks and you want a Halloween mask, or you have to wear them where you work, these would be really cute for masks too. I certainly hope we don't have to go there. But this bundle is 5 pieces of fabric, 18 by 21, and let's see, what can you say for this one? How about jack-o'-lantern? Is that too hard? We're going to say jack-o'-lantern or mummy. If I can figure out the random comment picker, that's how I'm going to pick them. If I can't figure out how to do that, I will write your name down and stick it in a basket and have my husband or one of my daughters pick it out. And it will be random, I promise you, it will be random. And those are the 2 giveaways for this week. Jack-o'-lantern for the bundle, or Mummy for the Mill Hill kit. I hope you all have a great week. I will be back here with the winners next week and some more giveaways. And I certainly hope I have more stitching to show you. Have a great week. Bye.